are now heated. The APC Presidential Campaign Council wants the presidential candidate of the PDP arrested, prosecuted, and from some person who said was a former to the former vice president. The PDP is also reacting and also, in a way, attacking the presidential candidate of the APC. We talked a lot about that yesterday and on the news. While all of that is happening, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi was in London at Chatham House talking about what he would do differently. He spoke about his claims as Nigeria becoming the poverty capital of the world, according to World Bank's 2018 figures, and that despite government's 500 billion yearly spending on social investment programs, things haven't changed quite much. We're talking this morning about Labour Party, but we're looking at its structure in Anambra State. We have also recently launched its presidential campaign for its political party, APGA. Remember, I wrote a letter earlier about his position on Peter Obi's ambition to become president. It would seem that the Labour Party candidate doesn't have the full support of his own governor. We're also hearing from other stakeholders in that part of the state, particularly the recent development as to the pulling down of billboards belonging to the Labour Party. We'll be speaking with a senatorial candidate coming from Anambra who belongs to the Labour Party. We'll also hear from the Soludo administration. I believe that we have a special advisor on political matters joining us in the course of today's program. All right, I'm joined now by the special advisor to the governor in Anambra, Dr. Alex Obiobolu. Good morning, and thank you for finding time to come.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, so the narrative out there is that the state governor has given a charge to pull down all the billboards belonging to the opposition Labour Party in Anambra. How is your government reacting to this?
Well, I mean, that's a non-starter. In the first place, how will the governor be involved in this? Secondly, this is an issue that has to do with ANSA, the Anambra State Advertising Agency. They set the standards, they are regulatory. This organization was established way before, about over 10 years ago, when the presidential candidate of Labour Party was the erstwhile governor of Anambra State. So why would the governor order that his billboards be pulled down? What we see is this is a distraction, because the event they are narrating now actually happened more than a week ago. But because of the, what I would call the tsunami of a rally we had in Anambra State, they decided to divert attention from the fact that people appreciated that APGA was still on the ground and that Anambra is APGA land. So unless I hear what the senatorial candidate has to complain about, I don't think, I think there are no issues.
So what is this thing about campaign fees? Because we are hearing that the state government had some months ago placed a public notice announcement asking presidential candidates to pay as much as 10 million naira and senatorial candidates 7 million. And the list is long for you to, publicize any political, to make any political campaign on government property. Some saying this has no basis even in the Anambra state law. Do you react to that?
Sorry, your volume is poor. I can't hear you again.
I'm talking about the campaign fees that the state government has asked political parties to pay before publicizing their campaign on government property. There are some who are saying that this has no basis even in the Anambra state law.
Well, with regards to the campaign fees, in August, this is a regular thing. I was once in PDP. I was contest elections. The issue was very clear. Answer fees, 2010, 2013, they did explain to us. They called us to a meeting and explained the reason why these fees were prescribed. That politicians oftentimes litter the state with posters and bills that have to be removed after the elections at enormous cost. And that government was looking at how to generate more revenue and also the sum of money, revenue, to be able to, take care of these issues that happen after the elections. And they also told us that there were other states that were doing it, and we checked, and Lagos State was one of the states that started it. So it's not the governor, remember, has consistently given Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour, the use of government facility. One, as a son of the soil. Two, as a former governor of the state.
Senator Victor Ume is a senatorial candidate under the platform of the Labour Party, and he's saying that, I'm quoting him now, there is nothing like campaign fees under the electoral law. No state government has a right to impose any fee on any candidate before it could campaign. There is no such law in Nigeria, and no such law either in Anambra State passed by the State House of Assembly. Do you agree with it?
No, I don't agree with it. Now, I don't know what terminology was for that fee, but I know it's certainly not campaign fees, not stated as campaign fees. Secondly, it's rather unfortunate that my friend, his statements, because once he was in ABGA, I was a governorship aspirant in PDP, and my billboard was pulled down. I didn't go shouting, crying wolf. I went to the agency that was supposed to have done it and complained, and they explained to me why my billboard was pulled down. And 2015, I was also overseeing the election of Senator Stella Odua. The billboard at around Boromi, just close to the Zik late president's house, her billboard was pulled down. Again, we complained. We didn't go complain in the press, saying that this was done by the government of Peter Obi or the government of Obiano. We did what had to be done. Then, in the process, we understood that the agency we paid money did not forward the fees for political advertisements. They call it political advertisement fees. So he's not being totally honest in this case.
You were Director General of the PDP candidates during the Anambra State governorship election. Are you saying that these campaign fees were in fact enacted at that time? So you paid that amount?
Yes, we paid 10 million.
Okay, so...
Why is it not at all? Not at all. And to show you that we are not anti or undemocratic or constricting the political space, the governor has been so gracious in allowing Mr. Peter Obi the national campaigns of PDP. When we go to states, it's mandatory that we pay courtesy visits on the governor, whether he's of a party or not. We also pay courtesy visits to key traditional rulers in the state. So when the PDP presidential candidate came to Anambra, he paid a courtesy visit to the governor and also paid a courtesy visit to the Traditional Rulers Council. He wanted to kill 2 birds, 1 stone, and then got everybody at the government house. When Mr. Peter Obi came for his own presidential rally, he did the same. He got the Traditional Rulers in the hall. And the governor said, okay, let him use the hall. As a matter of fact, the governor had a meeting with transporters and commercial vehicle operators on that day. He had to move it back to his lodge to grant his predecessor the use of that facility.
So this is an issue being raised by the Labour Party. Do you know if other parties like the PDP have paid this particular fees?
Well, if they have not paid, I believe, but I don't speak for ANSA will have, because they went on an enforcement.
I didn't quite get that.
I said if PDP had not paid, because I wouldn't know whether they paid or not paid, but I want to believe if they had not paid, their own billboards may have been taken down. Some of their billboards may have been taken down. Now, let me tell you what I know. I got a complaint from Honorable Obi Wankwo. He is a candidate for House of Reps in the Oka North, Oka South federal constituency, complaining that ANSA pulled down one of his billboards. And I called the ANSA MD. And I said, why? He said, well, it means because, it's decentralized. The agency is decentralized. They have zonal offices. That he had to find out that it's very likely that my candidates did not pay the prescribed fee for that. And then I got back to Obi and told him, he said, oh, well, we have guys. I said, no, everyone has to pay. So why is Senator Victor Mayor shouting crying wolf? He's the only one crying wolf. He was a former national chairman of ABGA. He was there. We didn't complain when we were on the other side of it.
So help us understand precisely, since you've been involved in elections for a while in Anambra, even while you were not with the ABGA, do you know precisely under whose administration these campaign feeds began and what year precisely it began?
It was Mr. Peter Obi. Because, I have run for governor 4 times. I started running for governor in 2006.
Oh.
So that thing was enforced. They started enforcing it from 2013.
Interesting. So I understand your position, but I want you to also try to understand what the Labour, for instance, a Labour Party official was quoted to have said that Soludo himself, Professor Soludo himself, said it doesn't want Labour received for the advert. He ordered the removal of all obedient billboards across the state. Many people are concerned about how these issues are being resolved so that it doesn't escalate into violence.
What he's saying is not the truth. When you go to that strategic area he's talking about, you will see the Labour Party billboard mounted. It's a big one, a unipole that has Dati and Mr. Peter Obi on it. It's located, let me tell you the exact location. It's located at the, what you call the temporary site along the express, Onitsha Enugu Expressway. Now, what they are complaining about is the one they put up on the pedestrian bridge. Because at that place, the state government constructed a pedestrian bridge to stop the accidents so that people could cross over the highway because of the volume of pitfalls you have there. Now, that was removed by ANSA because it's a state government asset. That asset does not belong to a third-party advertising agency. It does not belong to ANSA. It belongs to the state government. So if they wanted to make use of it, they need to take the permission of the state government, not ANSA. If I own a house and you are a caretaker, you're an agency that deals in properties, you have to take my permission before you rent out my space.
But I'm just concerned about, I want to know what your government is doing, because we had your principal recently talking about why it's important to sit at the table and engage non-kinetic approach to the security challenge in the Southeast. The election that brought Professor Soludo, there were just about 10% of registered voters turning out for that election, occasioned by, the security challenge in that area. And we're counting down to another election. Are you not concerned about the possibility of this degenerating if you insist on enforcing these campaign bills?
Well, not if we insist. ANSA, you're talking about if ANSA insists. Because we also...
ANSA is an agency of the Anambra state government, right?
Yes. No, I want to correct it. It's ANSA insisted. Now, we already engaging. Because as political advisor, I've also engaged some of them already, some of the Labour Party people, to say, listen, this is not what you think. This is the process. It's ANSA, not Soludo, not ABGA government. It's ANSA. And you need to interact with them and find out resolution mechanism for resolving this issue. So on that, we are non-informal basis, we are interacting. Because one thing about Anambra politics is that it's never violent. It never gets to that level where you're shooting each other. It's all about talk. We try to use the courts if things don't work out. But we've never been violent. And we're interacting with all of them.
Because you mentioned earlier about how tolerant the governor has been, ensuring that every political party has the free use of government facility. One would think that he will extend the same gesture in this regard if this particular issue is raising so much dust. That's the point I was making.
Which dust? The issue why it's raising dust, it's not from all ABGA candidates. It's just...
Well, we're having issues with his line. We probably would take a short break and then return to speak to the special advisor to the Anambra State Governor on political matters. The phone lines are open, and we'll also hear from you shortly. Stay with us.
Where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, that's how you misinform the public.
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays on TVC News.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I am sure we engage the organized workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
TVC News first with breaking news.
We cover the big political stories in Nigeria, but people want more than just politics.
Business news, sports naturally, but you need news to live by also.
Stories about education, health, personal finance, and hey, even lifestyle news.
Newspaper reviews, travel news, and much more.
Nigeria, it's more than just politics. It's life.
Start your day with us every weekday.
TVC News Breakfast. First, fast, balanced, and accurate.
TVC News first with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us. Our attention is turned to Anambra this morning as we take a look at some political matters arising from that part of the country. Dr. Alex Obiogbolu, Special Advisor to the Anambra State Governor on political matters. Thank you for staying the course on the program this morning. You were saying earlier that the issue with this billboard perhaps is peculiar to a singular candidate of the Labour Party, and you don't think it's something that everyone isn't happy about. We hope that you find a way to resolve it amicably, and seeing the position that Professor Ludo has taken during this election. But I'd like us to also explore some other matters arising politically from your state. It's interesting how very competitive elections are in Anambra. For instance, if you take a look at the previous Senate election results, only one of the three incumbent senators was returned. And as we speak right now, your party doesn't even have any representation at the Senate. Now you have a presidential candidate coming also from the Labour Party. What are your chances in the forthcoming National Assembly elections?
Well, over the years, APGA has evolved first as a regional party, now as the third largest party in Nigeria. And what our aspiration is to have greater spread this time around, especially in the National Assembly. We're working hard to ensure that we are able to win at least minimum of 15 senatorial seats, not just in Anambra, but across the country. And that's why one of the things why we launched the national campaign rally in Anambra, where candidates from all over the country came and attended, and were giving flags. And, we wouldn't discuss everything on the screen, but summarize it to say that we are working hard and we're hopeful. We're campaigning very strong, hard, convincing the populace and the electoral, the voters, to ensure that we're able to get our candidates elected. One thing is for sure, this election is different from other elections. There are very basic issues to be discussed. The issue of where do we belong as a people? Is it a federal government we're practicing? Are we in the Southeast especially accepted within the larger framework of Nigerian constitution? So a lot of issues, the insecurity issue, the fact that poverty is rising in the country. So there are a lot of issues to discuss, and we're focused on issue-based campaigns.
Hold that thought, Dr. Obiogbolu. Let me quickly take this call from Otokpo in Benue State. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ifemi.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
I greet your guest. Politics in the Southeast is always very interesting, and especially Anambra State. But what I want your guest to know is that it's popularly said that memory forgets, but record remembers. They should be careful what they're doing and what they're saying, because this could be used against him in future. Anambra politics is always like this, always full of confusion. And I don't know why Charles Soludo, the executive governor of Anambra State, he should keep his peace and observe, because it is very dicey. The politics of Nigeria, this 2023, is very dicey. And he should not put himself in the forefront. He could come back to haunt him tomorrow. Why should they be removing signages, people's campaign materials, and then say refund their money to them? We don't want them to put their signages here and there. I don't think it sounds logical at all.
Well, Emmanuel, the gentleman said they did not pay campaign fees, and that the campaign fees had been enacted as far back as when Peter Obi was governor in Anambra. Did you hear that?
Then they should have asked them to pay campaign fees. Only when they refuse that they should remove it. I know that Charles Soludo has very high ego. And from the body language, it's like, why not me? Why Peter Obi? Your time will come if you should be president. There's always time for everything. And who can tell now that Peter, it's God that appoints president, gives power. And we should be careful what we do, so that we are not caught in the wrong corner and be spoken bad of. I wish them well in Anambra State.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for your call.
Nigeria.
Quite some allegation against the principal there, but you talked about how different this election will be, and you also mentioned how united the Southeast is. So I'd like you to speak to that, because one would think that your principal will be supporting the Labour Party candidate, who seemed to be getting a lot of buzz online. The last presidential election in your state, the PDP candidate won easily with about 87% of the votes. Now, APGA has a presidential candidate?
You see, let me take what the last caller said. I mean, and thank you for at least standing up for me to tell him what I actually said. Maybe he didn't hear it properly. The agency has its prescribed laws. When you talk about tolerance, political intolerance, the internet, just Google it and you see. I don't want to speak here. Google it and you see what happened in 2013. The same Labour Party complained about having won an election the local government election, and they were not allowed to be sworn in. They were denied it, and a caretaker was put in. And that local government is Nnewi North local government, 2013. So today, those people who were part of the government who did it find themselves in the same Labour Party. And that's why I support what he says about that we should all be careful, because I believe he's not only talking to me, he's talking to everybody, including himself, Emmanuel. You know, because what I say is what I know, and what I stand for is to say the truth. So the issues are there. The internet is full of them. Now, as per the party, ABGA has a presidential candidate. Professor Charles Soludo is a governor of Anambra State elected on the platform of ABGA. And we don't have any alliance with any political party. Our aspiration is to go to the electoral polls and deliver as many of our candidates as possible through the will of the people, through the mandate of the people. So you wouldn't expect everyone who is from Southeast to be the same political party. So as you will not expect everyone in the northern part of the country to be in the same political party, to be in the same political party because they speak one tongue.
Let me hold you very shortly, Dr. Obiagbolu. George has called in from Lagos. Good morning.
Good morning, Nifemi.
Good morning, sir.
Nifemi, the topic you are discussing about payment for advertisement, political advertisement, is not restricted to Anambra State. If you look at it, you see that it happens everywhere. Politics is full of contestations. Any state where a particular political party is governing, they want to retain it. They want to ensure that they are the most popular party in that state. You saw when Governor Wike made statements publicly recently that if you are a political party and you want to come and campaign in my state, you will pay for advertisement, you will pay for deposit for in case you damage any school or any venue you use. I don't see this one as an issue. They are not saying don't use or don't advertise. But if you advertise, you pay. Unless I'm the one that is not understanding it. Pay for the advert you are putting somewhere, not that you shouldn't use it. Politics is expensive. Even in the U.S., the politics campaigns are very expensive. You see candidates sourcing money. The difference between their own and ours is that it is your supporters who are donating money for your campaign. Unlike here, that the candidate has to raise the money by himself.
But you know that this payment, they are two different payments, so Mr. George. There's the money you pay to the agency who owns to pay that to the state government, to an agency of the Anambra State
advert too. The Billboard, what they are doing with the Billboard is to advertise their candidates.
Indeed.
So whatever you put on the Billboard, you pay for using the Billboard. It's the same thing. It's campaigning. If I put an advertisement slot on TVC now about my candidate, won't I pay for it?
So, exactly what I'm saying, Mr. George. I'm not sure you're getting it all. There are two different monies. No. Except I'm the one missing it out.
You are the one missing it. Let me explain.
Okay,
let me give you an example. If I put an advert on TVC now,
yes.
Once it's political, you know the price is more. The price is more. It's higher. You know that. So also, when you pay to your advertisement company, because you know candidate pays directly to answer. It is the advertisement company that pays. Now, when you pay to your advertisement company, you have to remember to pay an extra fee, which the advertisement company will now forward to answer.
It's the same thing I'm saying now, Dr. Obiagbolu. So the money that answer is asking for is a different money from what you pay your advertisement agency.
Regularly.
It's the same thing I'm saying. I'm not sure he got it quite well. But let us return to our conversation.
He's saying that Governor Wike said in Rivers that if you come to campaign, you must pay advertisement fee. And that is what we are saying. And that is what Lagos State has been doing. That's what most states have been doing. Apart from the rental, advertisement rental you pay for those billboards, there is an additional fee you pay. Otherwise, may I ask you, why is it that when I come to TVC, I have to pay more than the normal I'll pay for a 1 minute or 90-second once it's political? There's a reason.
It's all right. I get your point. You pay to TVC a particular amount, but you don't necessarily pay to the Lagos State government. I hope you know that. Apart from the tax that we pay the government.
TVC collects an extra amount. TVC collects an extra amount.
Which is a fee for political advertisement. I think it's a little bit different, but don't let us drag it too long.
This is what the government is doing.
So you mentioned earlier that the reason why your principal isn't supporting the Labour Party candidate is because APGA has its own presidential candidate, and that's very clear. But, you know, some are saying this is the first time that a Southeasterner is on a ballot in this manner. And the fact that he's not getting support from his home state is quite strange. Are you saying that he isn't quite popular with the people? Or his popularity is not pronounced with the political class? Or this is the way to pay him back for leaving APGA in the first place?
No, it's not an issue of popularity now, right? Because popularity in politics means a different thing, you know? I'll give you an example. The president of the current president, President Muhammad Buhari, won the Katsina State. Well, he didn't win Katsina State with 100%. Atiku, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku, won Adamawa State, but he didn't win Adamawa State to 100%. There are always those who will say, this is my choice. There are always those who make those choices based on issues, not based on tribe, not based on relationship. There are people who will say, okay, I belong to this club. So because I belong to this club, I'm going to vote with this club. And what the president is mob that are igniting this thing. These two men are friends. They went to the same university. They've been friends for years. When he visited Professor Soludo, they had private discussion, useful discussion. So this is very simple. He is saying that my party has a presidential candidate and we have to work for that presidential candidate. He's not saying that Mr. P2B is a bad person. He hasn't said that.
I'm not sure you were with the...
I know some statesmen who are already impugning the character of presidential candidates. Professor Charles Soludo has not impugned anybody's character. He has not said he's a thief. He has not said he cannot be trusted with money. But he's just saying that from the angle he's sitting, he doesn't think that he's going to win the election.
But APGA was in power in 2019, and the PDP won that state with 87% of the votes.
No, PDP won with more than 87%. PDP won with 90-something%.
Oh, I was even being, very magnanimous with the numbers. Yeah. So, but APGA had the power of incumbency at the time.
Yes. So that tells you it's not about the political space in Anambra is never constricted. The political space is open. And that's what the governor is saying. He said it when Atiku came. He said, we want to make this place an open place, a livable place where people come in and feel free, not where they're being intimidated. If you say you're not with this person, they'll say you're an idiot, they will bring all kinds of abuses on you, threaten your life. He says, no, that shouldn't be the case.
Let me hold you for a minute. Ahmed has called in from Abuja. Good morning, Ahmed.
Good morning, Venezuela. How are you?
Terrific. Please go ahead with the contribution.
Yeah, I call from Abuja. I agree with Mr. George on what he said because campaign is very costly, and Anambra State is not the only state that is collecting fees from advertisement. Radio collect, TV collect. The example he gave is for TVC in Lagos. TVC collect advertisement fee from all political parties, but they pay revenue to Lagos State government. I think that is correct.
Indeed.
So that is the rules. The issue of Anambra State cannot be in isolation. Anambra State is not outside Nigeria, it's in Nigeria. So they must pay, whether Labour Party, whether he's a former governor or whatever, he must pay the fees that is appropriated by the state government, because they have agencies that are doing that work. They have agencies that are collecting those fees from political parties. Even venue, the way we talk, if you want to apply for a venue, you must pay for the venue. So it's not a big deal. It's not supposed to be a discussion on TV. They know, even the former governor that is contesting for Labour, before he went to Chatham House and discussed yesterday, he must have paid something for those that make way for him to go and speak there. So you cannot just go anywhere and advertise yourself for free. It's not done anywhere. So I think that is not supposed to be an issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed, for your contribution from Abuja. Let's talk very quickly about the security situation in Anambra. You know, we mentioned how it affected the turnout of voters in the last governorship election. Dr. Obiogbolu, are you optimistic that more people will come out for election in February, given the current security situation in your state?
Oh, certainly. But let's talk about this insecurity. You know, insecurity is not limited only to Anambra. It's becoming a national malaise, you know, the insecurity threat. And it's part of the long-drawn issues of unemployment, lack of opportunities, this sense of hopelessness of the youth, and the fact that the society has lost its value system. You know, today in the country, you ask anyone, what is our national value system? There's nothing to show except the quest for wealth. There's this mad quest for wealth everywhere. And so these are the societal ills that have culminated, and the outcome today is the insecurity. And the government has to tackle it aggressively in their purview. The governor is not the chief security officer of any state. They just say it by mouth, in words, but in action is not. So what we've tried to do in Anambra State is to ensure that the vigilante law that was passed years ago is reinforced, and we've recruited and increased our workforce in terms of vigilante service. All right. We're also trying to leverage on technology to be able to deal with insecurity. And the successes we've recorded so far, when you look at where we've come from, March 17, 2022 till date, you see that when you had 8 local governments under threat, under siege, today it's just limited to 2 local governments.
We'll talk more about that shortly. Let me take Mazi Okorafo's call from Abia State. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, Mr. Nife. Good morning, Mr. Lex. Yeah, Mazi Okafo. You see, let's look at it logically, scientifically, and name it. The advertising agency or the advertising council should be held responsible. Why? Because that's the council under advertising agency that covers everything. They say council chartered. Now, why did they allow governors? The governors are thought to be emperors, kingmakers. They decide which advert will be displayed. Look, if you say pay for advertising agency, endorse, they will address. We carry our program. We carry out that. They endorse it. Now, the same advertising agency, the governors or the council members or the local government will say, okay, this is our own money. I see no reason if all these people have paid all this money, whether the Anambra or governor of Ebonyi or anything will go and remove the post or even Gombe. They did it. But the question is this. Let me tell the governors, whether they like it or not, no condition is permanent. I repeat, no condition is permanent because they have got the opportunity now, because everybody is clamoring for this, they sit down and decide whatever they want. It doesn't work. Look, let's borrow a leaf. What is happening in America? What happens? Trump, as far as I'm concerned today, Trump is the only president we have had in the whole world that will quench anything that does terrorism. Whether people like it or not, that's my own research work. Biden came in and said Trump did this, Trump did this, Trump did this. What happened? Biden have not been indicted with the classified documents. Classified, what does it mean?
Mazi Okorafo live for us from Aruchuku in Abia State. We have just 5 more minutes, Dr. Obiogbolu. So Professor Soludo said recently that the region is ready for a comprehensive heart-to-heart talk about its future, about its security, and about its prosperity. And he wants President Buhari to release Anambra Kanu to him so that he can also have a seat at the table. You know, one question we've been asking on this program, and I'm glad that you're here, is do you think Professor Soludo has gotten some assurance from Anambra Kanu himself that his release would, in one way or the other, materialize in actual peace in the region? Because before he was detained, his request for secession, his position was very clear. The internet is full of the many hate speeches that he has made against Nigeria as a nation. For your governor to ask for him to be released, does he have some assurances that we're not aware of?
Yeah, you need to look at the timelines. As far back as 2020, the governor, when he was not elected governor, had made this request that we need to engage. We need to use non-kinetic methods to resolve the state of insecurity, especially in the Southeast. Upon assumption as governor, one of his first acts was to visit Anambra Kanu in the detention center. And the outcome of that discussion, there was an announcement through his lawyers saying that people who were in the bush were not members of his movement, and if they were truly members, they needed to down their arms and pursue the path of peace. It was after that engagement that the governor of Anambra State, Charles Chukwuma Soludo, decided to engage them, because he had given them a timeline to leave the forests. And that culminated in what we have today, where we've been able to recover 6 out of 8 local governments fully.
Are they completely out of the forest now?
Yes, in 6 of the local governments, we don't have issues. We still have issues in 2 local governments in the south, out of the 8. You know, so I want to believe, again, for him to have done this, it means that there are discussions going on that we may not all be fully aware. You know, some security matters are not, at best, not discussed in public.
I agree. Emeka has called in, just a minute. Emeka has called in from Dokpemo. He's our last caller on the show. Mr. Emeka, you have just 30 seconds.
Good morning, my dear.
Good morning, sir.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can, very clearly. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to make small I want to make small comments about concerning the governor of Anambra State, concerning about the Labour Party presidential candidate. It is clear. It's clear the governor is supporting a particular party.
Of course, he's supporting his party, ABGA.
It's not APUGA. It's for supporting PDP, Atiku Waziri, Atiku Abubakar. It's not the party.
All right.
In his comment, he has over mentioned APUGA candidate in his comment. He's mentioning that the P2P knows that he's going to fail. That was his comment.
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
He mentioned it on Saturday.
You quickly want to react to that in 30 seconds so we can go, please.
He mentioned it on Saturday that we have a presidential candidate that should put it for ABGA all the way. And then secondly, even in his letter he's alluding to, people fail to realize, many of them didn't read that letter. In that same letter, he considered that Peter will win Anambra State. But Anambra State is not enough to win the national election.
That's our time, Dr. Alex.
We need to talk about the Southeast.
Yes. Thank you so much for your contribution. Dr. Alex Obiogbolu is Special Advisor to Anambra Governor on political matters. We wish you all the best ahead of the election. Well, veteran broadcaster Yuri Folari, fondly called Uncle Yuri, is back on the show. I just shook his hands a few minutes earlier. He's reinvigorated, he's rested well. and the conversations just got started, so you don't want to miss the show from tomorrow. I am Nifemi Ogutoye. Perhaps I'll see you again in December, and then I'll be on the news and other shows on TVC News. Follow me at Nifemi Ogutoye on Twitter, where we can also continue the conversation. It's been a great time being with you on the show. It's goodbye for now.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
When shippers groan under the weight of ceaseless charges that tend to throw them off balance in the sector, Nigerian Shippers Council promptly comes to their rescue.
Today, you now have a regulator that is out there taking care, having the responsibility of ensuring that there is fairness, there is a lack of arbitrariness. You have an umpire that is unbiased in the way that, we're delivering on our mandate.
We stay ahead of the curve.
Hello and welcome. It's Tidbits.
Allah Inland Drive port is born again. Finally, the eagle has landed.
Join us for a smooth sail on your favorite maritime program, The Shipper, brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator, every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. on TVC.
Your favorite agricultural variety show, Farm and Fortune, is finally back. Season 3 of OCP Farm and Fortune is bigger, bolder, more enlightening, and funnier than ever before.
Isn't it one big happy family? The more we are together. That's all.
With all the knowledge that you've been missing.
When you practice diversified agriculture from the beginning, even if you lose one crop, you still have many other crops on the ground.
More experts and more prizes to be won. It kicks off on TVC News every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Stay tuned.
Keep up with innovative, revealing, and groundbreaking happenings in the world of brands and brand builders in Nigeria and across the globe. Mingle with people and brands that make the cut and the personalities that keep reinventing the trends and traditions in the marketing world. All exciting one-stop shop and movers and shakers of the world of marketing as they share their views and ideas on the business and challenges of advertising, corporate affairs, media strategy, and the unfolding exciting world of digital marketing. Join the trendsetters and key decision makers as they shape opinions and project into the future of the marketing landscape for 30 exhilarating minutes on this channel. Stay ahead, be thrilled to beat, be marketing savvy with Marketing Edge on TV. Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it. At TVC.
Hello and welcome to the Midday News. We begin with electoral matters. The City Boy movement is sensitizing voters in the rural communities in Abuja on the need to collect their permanent voter cards ahead of the general election. The group is hoping the sensitization will help Nigerians participate in the upcoming elections and are looking to set up committees in all the 36 states of the country to drive the awareness campaign. They also make facilities.
We're ensuring that with our new strategy, that is door-to-door campaign, we're sure that we're going to tell everybody about our principal, about the vice, about the things he has done in the past, because Asiwaju is the only person who has a track record that you can easily talk to anybody about. It is seen. It's not something you're going to be debating about. You can go to Lagos, you will see it. His manifesto has spoken about it. So our visit here is to talk to the women, talk to the youth, and tell them that you have a principal who is going to include you.
What our principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he's being voted in 2023, what he's going to do. The engagement we just had with the chief of Kubwa here, you hear it from them and some of the honorable, that most of the roads within the Kubwa township are constructed by APC-led administrations, not PDP. So that is why we're also here, that by voting APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then there will be a lot of amenities that's going to be done in Kubwa axis of FCT.
That come 25th of February 2023, the PDP will slump and the APC will be on top of it by this time in the FCT, because the people have tested what the PDP has done democratically, particularly from the Senate and in the House, and of course they have nothing to show. But we assure you that the mistakes of the past are being corrected.
And the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress says the time to harness Nigeria's diversity for prosperity is now, and his administration will make it a reality if elected. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu made this known at the Train the Trainer program of the Election Planning and Monitoring Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council in Abuja. Ola Wakon has details.
These are APC stakeholders across the country who gathered to be trained on election guidelines. It is the APC Train the Trainer program of the Election Planning and Monitoring Directorate of the Presidential Campaign Council. The Directorate says the program is to give adequate training to these APC stakeholders for them to ensure victory for the party at the elections.
When this Train the Trainer exercise, which gives us an opportunity to first appreciate you as our polling agents for the roles you have been playing in mobilizing for the party across the country and also defending the interests of our candidates. Because it is difficult to bring all our agents for this training at once, we have selected you so that you can get the knowledge and cascade it down to the grassroots when you return home.
Your duty and that of those you will train is simple: to protect the votes that Nigerians will cast for the APC and ensure that nobody, no matter who the person may be, tamper with the credibility of our victory.
The APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu charged the trainees who are expected to train more people in their various states to be determined to ensure victory for the APC.
Be determined to bring victory to our party. Be the owner of knowledge that you acquired here today and go home and be more serious. Don't look at the grammar, look at the content. I'm promising that that time is now for Nigerians. Diversity for prosperity. Thank you so very much.
The Election Planning and Monitoring Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council also used the platform to acknowledge and appreciate party stakeholders who have displayed diligence in their actions towards promoting the values of the presidential candidate and the party.
Thank you very much.
Ola Awakon, TVC News, Abuja.
Thank you.
And the leadership of Tinubu Shetima Youth Focus Campaign Team has inaugurated a local organizing committee to mobilize votes for the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate and his running mate. The newly inaugurated members are tasked to sensitize youths to go and collect their permanent voter cards and vote for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. At the inauguration held in Lagos, over 100 youths expressed their undivided loyalty to the party and promises to deliver their various wards.
I'm confident of the word I'm telling you, with the aspiration of Nigerian youth to take over leadership for Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu Bola. This come 25th of February for a renewed hope. We know we are certain of victory. we advise them to go get their PVC and to be a credit voter of Nigerian youth, and as well indicate the interest in politics. That is why we keep advising them, please, Operation Get Your PVC.
Our committee is Tinubu Shetima Youth Focus Campaign Team, Youth Wing of ICC. So our mandate is Senator Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The only way we can deliver our mandate is by getting our PVC. So I want everybody to tell a friend, I want a friend to tell a friend, so that everybody will be able to protect their mandate.
Meanwhile, the Surulere Youth Wing of the All Progressives Congress says it will continue sensitizing residents of the community on the need to collect their permanent voter cards. This move is aimed at ensuring that eligible voters turn out on election day to vote for candidates of the party at all levels. There is more in this report.
These are youths from Surulere. They're on the streets to propagate one message, which is their total support for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency. And to ensure Bola Tinubu's victory at the polls, the youth took their sensitization message on the importance of obtaining the permanent voter card to the streets. The Deputy Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly and the candidate of Lagos Central Senatorial District, Right Honorable Wasiu Sani Eshinokun, and the lawmaker representing Surulere Constituency 1, Desmond Elliott, along with the executive chairman, Surulere local government, were all on the train. For them again, the message is very simple, which is, quote, "Go and get your permanent voter's card," end quote.
Well, I look at our party, APC, I look at the spread, I look at what we have been able to achieve, and now